And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. Hey, we are back here with our final, well, I should say the second to the last show tonight, but this is the first show on our PBN TV channel, so thank you for joining us. If you're joining us out there on Facebook, lots of Facebook groups we're broadcasting to tonight, and of course, if you're on YouTube, you can enjoy it there. And if you're watching this later, seriously, Wednesday night, we have a great time. Tonight, we're going to talk about, with the photo booth operators, we're going to talk about using different... And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young.
Hey man, how's it going?
It is going. It's nice to see that you're out in the backyard there camping.
Yeah, all right, so here's what we did tonight. Some things that you normally don't have time to do around the house. We have plenty of time to do that. So I said to my kids, we're going to do home ec. So
Nice.
each kid has had to pick a menu, create their own menu, and make dinner for us. So all of a sudden, your link came through. I said, I gotta go. I gotta leave dinner. So
The kids are
I
back.
jumped in my den where this is my kind of my nighttime work area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I have my sweats on, and I just had a great Parmesan chicken dinner from my oldest daughter, Megan.
Whoa.
So
Megan's
yeah,
got
there's some positive things to take out of this whole little slowdown.
Megan's got some cooking skills if she can do a parm chicken.
Yeah, it was really good.
Excellent.
So she designed the menu. She had a menu on our table. I said, make it, kind of fancy. So it was a cool experience tonight for her.
Wow.
She made the whole entire meal. She said she felt a little nervous doing it, but
Excellent. Excellent. Fun family times. That'll be that memory that you guys will be able to share. Remember that time when, we've talked about some of those with the kids and such, and they're going to be like, we're going to, in 10 years, we're going to say, remember that time when we were stuck and somebody came over to the door and we stood back 25 feet because we had the UPS man go put something over on top of the car because we couldn't get close to it.
Yep.
Whatever.
And you leave it sit there for a day
Yeah,
that make sure that everything is
Yeah,
clear.
it's like, can you spray it with Lysol and then spray yourself with Lysol? And
Well, I went to the dump yesterday and the guy handed me the ticket and I used gloves and handed it back to him. And
Thursday mornings we deliver the local newspaper, so it's going to be it's gloves and hand sanitizer, and it's just the time we are in. So let's dig into the photo booth side a little bit and props.
Okay.
Now this has been something as we've been to the last few photo booth expos. There are a lot of great prop companies there, but you're seeing the way people or the some of the software companies just up the game with digital props. Are you finding that the digital is taking that over? Or are you finding a lot of people liking to hold this stuff and going that route?
I think putting your hands on it, and again, this right now is something that we have to think about, I guess. I've always been concerned about people putting physical props on like the hats and with lice, but now I think this is a whole other ball of wax we have to think about. So I don't know. I haven't delved into the whole virtual prop avenue yet. I know that PhotoMaster and maybe somebody else has come out with something where for the green screen technology, and I'm not sure how it all works. We were talking about that in the chill room a little bit last night because some of the guys had a green screen backdrop behind them.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, the one thing that I do use is the PhotoMaster Air Graffiti wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so that booth, those are the virtual props where I explained to people, I said, it's like an elaborate Snapchat filter program.
Yeah.
You add the hats and then you can add the mustache and you can spray on them and, add googly eyes and those kind of things. So for us, it's a little more time consuming to actually put that together. And, versus somebody comes in, they're out of that booth in 60 seconds. They hold up a sign, they put a hat on, they put on glasses, and you're out in 60 seconds. The other ones take, 3 minutes maybe to put everything together.
Especially if it's kids and they're like, oh, there's a hat. Oh, there's another hat. Oh, let's go back to that hat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really cool. I really like them. And in fact, I did a video today that I popped up on my YouTube channel. So if anybody wanted to see it, you can go and watch and kind of see the process a little bit. I also have another longer one. It's about 6 or 7 minutes long. It actually literally walks you through the entire process.
Nice, nice. So that showing the process of adding the digital thing, or what
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Showing you how you would actually work the program.
with the spray can and such. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
with the
there we
spray
go.
cans.
I was gonna think it was gone a different direction. So, so then when you're doing the actual photo booth side of things and not the spray version, what kind of props have you been finding been going over the best with the guests?
So years ago, I bought a sign cutting machine, and we used it for making signs at our events, big banners and things like that. Somebody came to us at a college and said, "Hey, can you make road signs, street signs?" So we made a 4 by 18 inch, like a street sign, and we'll go to the college and the kids will fill out a form and print that off. So they go away with their street signs. Then I said, well, if we can do that, why don't we just make those as our signs? So the signs were kind of the first thing we got into. And everybody uses them now, and they're much more elaborate than what we do now. But the signs are still popular. Make a statement.
Nice, nice. When you're doing something like the signs, are you putting the event name on it, or what? Or do you have sayings on those, or what really is going over well?
Yeah, there are always those sayings. I like it with "I'm with her, I'm with him, I'm with dummy," and have two arrows pointing at each other. Those kind of things go over well. And just simple little slogans. Hashtag WTF. I have one that says "kissing booth," and that one always gets a lot of time. I have one that it was at Hartwick College, which is a few hours away from me downstate, and it says "censored." And every year the same girl goes in the booth, and if she was in the closed booth, I think you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I think
she would take that censored sign behind the curtain. She'd pop her shirt off and hold that up
in front of her. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the signs that are a little bit leading like that. They're fun.
Yeah. People. Yep. It gets a chuckle or has some fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
but I mean,
go ahead.
I can say we carry a lot of props with us. We'll bring 2 6-foot tables full of props. Going to Sherman Specialties, they have all kinds of different things. Different hats and different packages. They came out with the glasses with the little mustache that hangs off them. So, anything like that's fun. We'll bring masks sometimes. Those are good for the kids, not so much at a wedding, but I have things I raid the Halloween stores. I'll bring in little hatchets and axes and skulls and things like that.
So how are you transporting all these props? Let's just because when you've got trunks, I'm guessing with all this.
We usually use plastic totes. Yep, just clear plastic totes. Everything is labeled photo booth A, B, and C, and so we bring the 2 totes that match along with it. Inside the totes, we always have a couple of guest books with us. Inside that is a smaller tote, which will have your stamps. It'll have your double-sided tape, your glue sticks, and along those lines, those kind of things.
So you mentioned earlier, of course, hats were a big thing, and there was that time where everyone was like, "Oh, I'm not wearing a hat because somebody else could have had whatever going on."
Right.
Where do you find? You mentioned some of the other props you found, but to find good quality hats has always seemed to be kind of a challenge. Have you found a spot that you've been pretty happy with the product?
The 2 companies that I used was the one that I mentioned earlier, Sherman Specialties, and also Rhode Island Novelty.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to get the stuff. It's going to get beat up. Your boas, the feathers are going to fall off. That's just kind of the cost of doing business. But I think that when I went to the show last year, there were a lot of companies out there showing those things, and you could get your hands on them. So I like the lips on a stick.
Oh, yeah.
And the mustaches on a stick. There was a company there, and I wish I could remember because I'd love to give them a shout out, but they're on a metal stick. And those have held together. Sometimes the wooden sticks will break.
Yeah.
And I've had to end up using a shish kebab, replacing it with a
exactly.
and some Gorilla Glue and putting them back together. But the physical props, those 2 places have been pretty good for me. And with those, you have to buy them in quantity, which is okay. You got your plastic fedoras, which are great. They look great in the pictures. They don't last very long.
No, not so much.
Yeah,
when we first started doing the photo booth, we had gone out, and I used to use a lot of hats with my show, my performance DJ show. So I had a repertoire of hats, and then we added more. But going out, to find the really cool ones, you're dropping somewhere between $10 and $25 a hat to get something, and that
to get a good hot dog hat,
to get a good hot dog hat, the pizza hat,
Right.
you know, the Vikings, the Viking hat, because you know we're Minnesota, so
Yeah.
you need to have that, and then you know, just the Packer cheese heads, we had to have those because you know we're close enough to Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
those are like $20 a pop, and so you get all these different, goodness, hundreds of dollars, and then of course at a show, some of these walk.
of course. Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I mean that's again, I guess, part of the business. You know, part of being in business. I got an email from one guy, a text message from a guy later on, and he said, "Oh, it was at the bar after the event. Somebody took my picture. I realized I still had your chicken hat on." So that one at least was recovered. But
Most of the
yeah,
time.
those things. I mean, they do walk, and they're fun. They're popular. Of course, people are going to take them home.
I always thought it would be, I wouldn't mind them taking them home if there was some way to have, you know, DJ John Young on the front of it or something. So it was
Yeah.
in there. So then it's like, well, you know, okay, so they took
Feel
home,
it, please.
they'll be remembering me from more than just, oh, that DJ was so fun. Who was it? I don't know. He's just a fun guy. Yeah, it would have helped a lot.
So yeah, I mean, you know, and part of all that is, we discussed this a little bit, was the whole theming of things, how to stand out from your competitors, or you know, a different look at some things. And we do a lot of themed parties, you know, the Western parties, casino parties. My daughter, she did the Wild West theme for her party, and the backdrop we used was, you know, wooden fence. We also had like a barn backdrop. We had the Wanted poster that was an overlay. We used that. I built for our casino night, we use a jail cell where the bars can flex a little bit and they stick their head through. So we use that as a prop. You can slide that in and use that. Have the stockade, or the stock where it goes over your head and you're locked into it. So those kind of things, you know, they're a little more costly, but you can charge a little bit more for them. So your return on investment, so it costs you a few hours and maybe a couple $100 to build them, charge it, you know, make it a themed event. I just recently had something that, with the technology now, screen technology that I use with my Photo Master with the Air Graffiti booth, that's a pretty elaborate program where you can do a lot of green screen things with it.
Sure.
So again, to expound upon the whole Western theme, we're going to go and expand that into doing like the old time photos.
Okay.
So if anybody out there has any old Western memorabilia or something they want to get rid of, I'm in the market to buy it. So, you know, on the program, you can put it into the sepia or sepia. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Yep.
But that gives it that yellowish antique kind of look. So I haven't really seen those. Kind of went out of favor a few years ago. You don't see them around too often.
Yeah, no, now that you mention that, yeah, it seemed like for a while they were very, very common, but yeah, I haven't seen that as much.
So that's kind of an idea to throw out there, you know, something for, and those are going to be more like your Sweet 16s, your bar and bat mitzvahs, your grad night parties, your after prom parties, you know, where it's a little bit bigger setup. You can get a few more bucks for it as well.
So with these, when you're doing more of a theme and you've got set up, you've got some pieces that you've built and such. One of the things, whenever I've gone and customized something like that, is at the end of the night, okay, so I've got this thing. Now what do I do with it? I mean, when you've gotten to that point of it, you know, do you take it all apart again and it's gone forever, or is this something that you've got space to where you can store it and you try to make it so you've got it for next time that you would have a Western event? What do you do with that?
For us, we have two big warehouses. And so one warehouse is climate controlled. That's where we keep all of our electronics. And that's also closer to my home, where if somebody were to come by it late at night and I didn't want them there, I can hear them. And I have another warehouse across town, which houses our tents, houses our trussing, houses our inflatables, and all those rental type of items that it's either too big or nobody would have any idea what to do with it if they ever opened up the door to see what's in there. So we literally make these props and we just keep storing them. Yeah, we do a lot of game shows. And so we've built the Wheel of Fortune show at a 6-foot, and we have the actual touch panels like Vanna used to touch and it would spin around. That just gets stocked and stored in the back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, once
you know, and it's investing in the future as I look at it. You know, you make these things, you build these things, and you have those. One of the most, and this is kind of getting a little bit off the beaten track. One of my colleges I worked with a lot last year said, hey, for orientation, we want to do the Price is Right. So I got the guys together, said, okay, we're going to start to build. So we built like a Plinko. We built 5 or 6 different props
Sure.
that we could use for that, and recycle them as we did the show. And again, there it is. Stack it up. More room, more things. We actually have an 18-foot box truck in the back of my shop. That's full of stuff. So yeah, it is a task. I know the people that if you were in the city or I'm in the country and I have plenty of room for this, I pay $200 for my big storage building, which is 24 by 40.
Oh, nice.
That's my rental. That's pretty fair.
Yeah,
I don't know
for
what
sure.
somebody would pay to have a big rental place like that
Yeah.
here in the city.
Yeah, for sure. A lot more than a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even if it would be available, I don't know if those things are even available for people
yeah,
of that size.
Yeah, exactly. Even around here, that a building, it's like everything's like starts at 500 and goes up quickly from there.
Right.
So when it comes to themed events, when you're trying to do those with a photo booth, is that something that when you're in the sales process that you're like, hey, do you have a theme or something or is it something that people are coming to you and saying, hey, Eric, we got this theme. Can you do something for how does that conversation work?
6 of one, half a dozen of another. I try to pitch the photo booth to everybody because that's a real good money-making upsell. The photo booth was one of the best things that we ever invested in. And the first one we did was seeing them at the Mobile Beat shows. I built our own. I've got a buddy who's in the middle of the winter time. He's a contractor, so obviously he wasn't too busy where we are. I said, this is what I want to do. I want it to be the size of a phone booth. I want it to be bigger. We came through and we put all this together. All the extrusions, we laminated all the panels and we put it together. So at that rate, that's one option that we have for the booths. But we have the green screen option is such a great option because you can theme it for these events.
Certainly.
So I try to pitch that, and again, that option is a good moneymaker. So I will always try to pitch that to people. But the other side of that is it's a great feature. It's so much fun for the people that don't want to dance, that aren't they don't want to be involved in the dance floor. There's always something for them to do. So on a bar mitzvah, most times they're themed bar bat mitzvah. Again, I go back to that green screen option where you can place them anywhere. We did one where it was a Broadway theme with the PhotoMaster. It comes with a Broadway backdrop.
Oh, nice.
So now we place everybody in the backdrop. Yeah. And of course, you can build your own backdrops and drop those right in as well. That one I use with the Breeze software.
Nice. Yeah. So you can put, as you say, you can put them right on Broadway, or you can put them down, on a strip in Las Vegas.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's true. So a lot of people, they do come to us and they say, what have you got? We're going to put this theme together. This is the group of people we have. What can you do? And I always, like I said, I always pitch the photo booth option because it's such an easy moneymaker. For us, we do, I mentioned this in other times I've been with you, that it's $9.95 standalone for 4 hours. But if you're going to hire us for a DJ or any other facet of our business, we'll throw it in for $800, 4 hours, comes with the operator, comes with a thumb drive, comes with a guest book.
Nice.
Yep. And we'll customize the layouts for them.
You've mentioned a green screen. Let's talk a little bit about how are you lighting that green screen to get a good back image? Because that's always a struggle when you are dealing with green screen.
The first thing we do is we try to find the best light that's coming down the back of it. It really just has to be an even spread of light. So we've used like a Fresnel with some barn doors on it to try to focus the light. The one big thing is you can't come from the front. You're going to get shadows. And when you get shadows, that's when you start to get the pixelation. Right. So you always have to come from the side and try to evenly wash it, or from the top all the way down so that you're not getting the shadows. That's the one big thing. Something I did see somebody was using, and I think it was on Amazon. It was like a meter bar. So of course we use the meter bars for different lighting effects, right? The colored ones, but they now come with like a 3200 Kelvin meter bar that can go right on the side of your screen. So it's going to be properly colored. It'll light it up properly behind you. The throw will be correct. And I always put a piece of tape on the floor stand in front of this, please.
Mark
If not, people back up and then everything goes crazy.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're back too far, and then they've got the green hue coming around on their body.
Right.
Why is my face blurring out or fading out? Well, you're a ghost.
Yeah. Because in the past, so we've done. I don't know if anybody remembers like the bobbleheads.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do the bobbleheads, but what we did was we did a thing called it videoke, which is like karaoke, but we superimposed you and put you in a video. So they would come up, and we give them a backdrop choice. They want to be in outer space, they want to be in the country, or wherever they want to be in the city, and they would sing along. And then we would superimpose them into that video. We'd burn it onto a DVD and hand it to the people as they got done. So we've been doing the green screen thing for 20 years now. That one is more challenging because there's a lot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
With a picture, they're standing still.
Yeah.
But with the videoke, that's quite a bit more challenging.
Sure, and as they're moving around, and the color or the lighting can change a little. Yeah.
Yep. The screen starts to move.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the pillowcase screens back then.
Yeah.
Those pillowcase screens, if you're doing green screen, get the pillowcase screen.
Oh yeah, those are so nice. Tight and straight.
It doesn't wiggle around. It doesn't move. It's always, it takes the wrinkles out, which sometimes causes problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that too, and I thought, ooh, that would even in the office here, because we have a spot over here on the side where we will stretch a green fabric to do green screen over there.
Right.
And it's like, that would be so much nicer. There's no putting the pins in and making sure it's nice and tight, and there's a ripple in it, and where's that ripple
changes the hue of it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And for people that are out there, here's another little hint. If you're doing it with like pipe and drape, we always get those big clamps from Lowe's,
mm-hmm.
clamp it on a pipe and drape, and then just turn them back.
I was going to say, I think I have. I just had a bag of them here because we were doing some things with a black screen on the other side, and we had the big old clamps from Lowe's. And
yeah. You pinch them, tighten them up on the pipe and drape, crank them, and that'll.
Yeah, and they work wonderfully for that.
Yep.
Oh, good stuff.
So, something I did see it was at IAAPA a few years ago, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's this crazy gray backdrop, and it's a reflective, like a crystal backdrop. And you hit it with a green light from the front, and that is what changes and makes your green screen. It is super consistent. I don't remember what the name of it was, or what company it was, but I was like, wow, that's amazing, because it was just so perfectly lit.
Interesting.
So next I'll look it up and see, because I took notes from that convention. It was a little costly, and these guys were doing some real high tech stuff. They had an entire booth where they're doing a surround projection.
Uh-huh.
They had that, and you just hit it with a green LED from the front, and it all turned green. That gray crystal in background
made it
turned green.
Whatever the color was, it made it pop like that. Oh,
yeah.
That'd be interesting to see that. Yeah.
Yep.
We get to see a lot of cool things and some innovative backgrounds and such, or backdrops at Photo Booth Expo, but I don't remember anything like that. The closest was the mermaid sequence, where you can go down and then back up and draw pictures and such. So.
Yeah, this was something pretty cool. IAAPA is a completely different convention from any of these others.
Oh yeah, that is. You're seeing some of the pictures and such from that, and just the entertainment side of who they're servicing. You're servicing a completely different crowd than what we were used to seeing, especially at Photo Booth Expo. No.
Yeah, we have. Our part of our business is the inflatable business. Mm-hmm. So I went there and came home with knocker balls and a new jousting pit or something.
Yeah, because that's where they show that stuff. So
yep.
So as you look ahead, getting into the end of 2020, 2021 events, is there something that you're going to be kind of looking to add to your photo booth offerings as we go forward?
We're pretty good right now the way we stand. We have the 4 different options. We have the one enclosed booth, which I call our classic booth. Mm-hmm. That was the first one we built. We went to the open air, which I use one of Ray Borges. I think it's a TS11 is what the shell is. Okay. That's a nice option for when you have a large wedding party, corporate event where you need to squeeze a bunch of people in. The third option is going to be the green screen option. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth option for us is the graffiti booth, which is like I was saying, the elaborate Snapchat. Yeah. Or I think you called it virtual props. Mm-hmm. Yep. Virtual. Yeah. So those are our 4 different ones. I've thought about The mirror booth, I don't know, and I'd be interested in hearing people's, comments. Say maybe some people can jump on the chill room later tonight. Usually around 11 o'clock is when it gets busy in there. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to transport.
It's a cool
I would
look.
think it would be.
It's a very neat look, but I get to the same part for my personal myself is that I don't know if I'd have to add a trailer to my repertoire. Because I've got my system down that everything I take and a smaller device can fit in my truck. But if I go with something large like that,
Right.
We used to have the kind of step into the booth and it had the curtain around and that whole thing.
Yeah.
We had to take a trailer.
Oh yeah, because it was a one piece.
Yeah,
like
big
Atlanta
tall,
or Kingdom, one of those guys,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep. It was one of the early Atlanta photo booths, and it was a good unit, and people loved it. But it just got to the point that either we had to take a trailer along, or I would have to drive my truck with the entertainment side, and Lori would have to come through with the other. And it's like, well, now we're starting to defeat the purpose of, now we're having to travel with two vehicles, and so.
Yeah, we use Sprinter vans, so size isn't an issue.
Nice.
And I did have one guy, another boother, ask me one time. He said, "God, look at the size of that thing." He goes, "You like that thing?" So I built this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I built
fabulous.
it to be.
They're fabulous, and they're an eye catcher. They're now unique, the bigger ones, but it's just you've got to have, like you say, the Sprinter van to be able to make it work. And for those of us who don't have that and such,
Right.
And I'd rather not be hooked up to a trailer because that's two more tires that could be problematic kind of way we show. So yeah, I just don't do that.
And something else to think about. I mean, it's a computer and it's a TV screen. And that's all in something that's very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems, I don't know, it just seems cumbersome. And I don't know, I'd like to hear some more on it.
Yeah, exactly. So here's some folks who've had that and they've had success with it. Because it was about 2 or 3 years when they first came on, it's like everybody, there was Facebook groups, the DIY mirror booth group. It's like, okay, there's a group for everything, I guess is what Facebook is.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, they have, and at the expo you saw, the ones that are more like, I guess they call them the lollipop shape.
Yep.
And the classic dressing mirror or whatever it would be. I think those are kind of neat as a little bit of a takeoff on them.
I think so. There was a couple of neat ideas. As it's like somebody comes up with an idea. It's like, we could put a photo booth in that, and there you go. And some of them are really, really quite neat. So
one other thing that we use with the Breeze software is we've also done the flip books. That's not as popular. I bought that with the program thinking that it would be popular, but you've got to have the cutter and a stapler and a few other pieces and parts, and it's a little more labor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't really take off, but it's another option.
Yeah, I remember when seeing the flip books, and it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then as you say it, sometimes they seem like a really good idea and it's really cool, but then when a person gets there and it's like, oh my gosh. Or even getting to the digital props, they took the picture and now the kids are over here and now they're trying to add these things and it just slowed down the process.
Yeah.
And
it was Mobile Bee. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I think Atlanta Photo Booth had that program. We all did it. We all tried it at the event. It was fun. Mm-hmm. So I figured if I like it, I think I got a good pulse on what other people would like, but I swung and missed on that one.
Yeah. I've had a few of those myself over the years.
Yeah.
So. Well, Eric, our time is just about up tonight to chat. Is there any other kind of final thoughts you had for us this evening, or?
Stick it out, everybody. Kind of taking a little bit of a tangent from the booth, but it's going to happen. Everything's going to come back. Just hang tight. Mm-hmm. If you guys can go back and watch Jerry and John from, I think it was 6 o'clock. Was it you guys were on?
6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very, very informative, and that was me who kept sending you those messages.
Saw that.
Because for us, he's talking about the loans out there, the low interest loans. Guys, move forward. I know it's a little scary and spooky. I just lost a graduation today that's in the middle of May. I wish people would hang tight and not, pull the trigger yet on killing these things, but now's the time to build yourself up and move forward. And, like I mentioned to you in that text I sent you during your time with Jerry, I think it's time for me to get that IP rated video wall.
Well, what's kind of cool about those of us who have contracts and run legitimate businesses is that we can do one of two things. We can show lost income. Last year in March, I had this. Last year in April, I had this. This year, I have goose egg. Those amounts of money are actually going to be something that with this little program that they're setting up, we're going to be able to get reimbursed for some of those losses. So those contracts where they have had to cancel completely, we're going to get some relief from those. So
from that bill that was just, I don't know if it passed or not yet.
It will be, it's one that they're working on for tonight. Yes, there's that part of it sounds like that is locked in. So for myself, we lost pretty much all of our proms this year. We were sweating about it, but now it's like there's going to be things in place, and
that would be
great for a lot of us.
You just made my hair stand up, man. That would help so much, because this time of year we have kind of a slow time right before now, and now we get busy. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
We've lost that busy. We're spending our money, our savings that we normally spend on new gear, and just in our lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know,
just to keep things.
We've had to tighten the belt, and that would be a great relief. I'd love to be able to send that out there. I'm in charge of a group in our town, a small business group, where I've been trying to feed them the news, and that would be great news to put out there. Yeah,
that's something we'll be hearing more about in the next couple of days. But basically, it's part of that unemployment loss of income.
Wow, that would be amazing.
So as a sole proprietor, they're going to be taking care of that. So we're pretty excited about that, which gets us back to the point of, if we can take some of these money worries off the table for us at this point in time, this is a great time to train, to learn, to grow, to build, to repair, to clean, and get yourself ready. So when things take off this fall, and some of the weddings are moving into 2021, and we're going to have a big year next, this is the time to prepare yourself for those times, and that gets crazy again. So
yeah.
Good stuff. Well, Eric,
thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me on again.
Thanks for being on tonight and sharing some thoughts and such with our photo booth audience. And thank you guys for being with us. If you're following on the DJ World, and at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, MJ is going to be on with the music and mixing show tonight. And of course, as you heard, Eric mentioned the chill room. We've got a chill room set up for mobile entertainers to go out and check. You can go out to djntv.com/chill, and it's pretty much open all the time, but generally it's in the evening, somewhere around that 10, 11 o'clock Eastern. When the room gets about 15 to 20 people in there sharing and talking and asking questions, and sometimes just being a little crazy. It's a good time.
It happens.
So.
We got a little punchy around 2 a.m. last night.
Yeah, I've heard that happens at 2 or 3 a.m. It's like, how do people stay up that late? But
I went out at 10:30. I went to my office to hop on just for a little while to talk to one of my friends. So, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go to bed.
Goodness gracious. Well, thankfully.
So thanks again.
Yeah, well, thank you much, Eric, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Good night, everybody.